Arg! Today we're gonna be talking about piracy.
Yes, we're downloading LimeWire Pro with LimeWire.
No FBI, no, we're not talking about that piracy.
We're listening to Crank That by Soulja Boy on Napster.
Maybe later, but right now we're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. The Pirates of the Caribbean original trilogy, let me tell you, one of the best trilogies, I think.
My first time watching it, like, you sat me down, strapped me to a chair.
Baptized.
Yeah. One of the best trilogies ever made.
Changed your life, didn't it?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of the first ones that Disney did for like the spin-off of the ride.
Yeah.
And it was huge.
Yeah, like, actually, wasn't a Haunted Mansion before this?
Same year.
Oh,
2003,
same.
Yeah. The first Pirates and the first Haunted Mansion came out same year. It's just Pirates was a little bit more successful.
And better.
Yeah, so the first one is just this great adventure where Jack meets Will and Elizabeth, and they have to. Jack's after the Pearl. He wants revenge because Barbossa used to be his first mate.
Yeah.
And they did mutiny.
Yeah, they kicked him off the boat.
Yeah, and now he's been saving a bullet with Barbossa's name on it.
Yeah.
And it's such a good movie.
Yeah. Just on all angles. It's like, at first it feels like a really sort of gritty, realistic pirate adventure. Then it slowly gets more and more fantastical.
Yeah.
But it never, like, sort of loses that sort of gritty, real charm.
Yeah, and I feel like they know how to blend the fantasy with the, like, oh, it's pirates. Like, you could see it actually happening.
Yeah, like, they go to, like, great lengths, at least in the first three, to make it feel historically accurate. Like, with the maps, they're actual historically accurate maps for that year and that time period.
It makes you feel. I always wanted to be a pirate when I grew up. And I turned out to be the other kind, the one that the FBI. That's a joke. Allegedly, that's a joke.
We are not downloading movies on
FBI,
Napster.
I promise. Okay, Napster's not on my computer right now. Yeah, so then you get into Dead Man's Chest, the second movie.
Yeah.
And oh, what a great step up.
Yeah, it continues and builds off the world and the characters.
Yes, and you have Davy Jones introduced as the real antagonist.
One of the best villains.
Oh my gosh, and some of the best CG you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, like, especially for like 2007, I think.
That was 2006, yeah.
Oh, 2006, wow.
Yeah, for 2006, and some of the more modern pirates don't look nearly as good. And of course they had Bill Nighy, depending on how touched you are in the brain.
I need to see it!
Bill Nye.
Just a great performance.
Yeah. The captain of the British Army.
Oh, Beckett. Cutler Beckett. What a great antagonist.
Yeah.
Because Davy Jones is the best, like, mythological.
But on the human side, Beckett, oh.
Yeah, because he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy could be like a sheriff or something, you know?
Yeah, he's just like a normal guy with a lot of political power.
Yeah, and he wants to rule the seas.
And he pretty much does.
He comes close, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And then they introduced the concept of Davy Jones' heart locked in this chest.
Yeah.
And so Jack owes him his soul because he traded his soul for the Black Pearl, which he was only captain of for like a year. But the deal was like 10 years, and then Davy Jones gets his soul. So that leads them on a romp where the main characters are constantly like betraying each other.
Yeah, and swapping places. Like, during the entire like third movie, Elizabeth, Jack, and Will are constantly going from Davy Jones to the British Army, back on the Black Pearl to Davy Jones.
And his compass swaps hands a lot. That'll come into play later on in this video.
Yeah.
But what I love about the original three is that all that's going on, they're betraying each other constantly, and you're never tired of it. It never feels like they're bickering. And you feel them grow closer, even though they're kind of betraying each other.
Yeah, like Elizabeth, like, literally, spoiler alert, kills Jack, and it's kind of like, he kind of deserved it.
Yeah, and it's great because that sets her arc into she wants to bring him back so she can undo the thing that she did. But Will thinks that she has a thing for Jack, and that lasts all of like half of the third movie.
Yeah.
At the end of Dead Man's Chest, they bring Barbossa back.
So tell me, what's become of my ship?
But then you get into At World's End, the third one, and oh my god, this is my favorite one. Well, the third one, they introduced the idea of Calypso.
Yeah, being a goddess.
Yeah, like the goddess of the sea that was bound by the pirate brethren court. And so eventually you find out that Tia Dalma, who's been with us since Dead Man's Chest, she is Calypso, she had a thing with Davy Jones.
But while he looked like Bill Nye, so
that's true. And they
still
do
a
show
little
him like a smidge.
Yeah.
She like turns him back into Bill Nye, but with a scraggly beard.
Yeah.
And they just build and build on the lore and the mythology and the characters. And this is the one where Barbossa becomes one of the best characters.
Yeah. Like, just Barbossa's growth through the first three from being like an antagonist, him wanting to feel like just basic human touch again.
Yes.
With like eating and stuff, to him sort of becoming almost like a hero.
Yeah. And he marries Elizabeth and Will.
Barbossa! Marry us!
I'm a little busy at the moment.
He marries them together. He doesn't marry
not
both
like
of them.
it's not a polygamy type thing. It's more of a piracy type thing.
Yeah.
How they build these characters to where none of them are like caricatures. They're all like, they feel like real people.
Yeah, they're like real people with like different wants and needs, and like they have like a similar goal of like taking down Davy Jones and Beckett's army.
Yeah, and with Will and Elizabeth, and even Barbossa a little bit, but with the core three, with Jack, Will, and Elizabeth, Jack becomes more like Will and Elizabeth, and Will and Elizabeth become more like Jack.
Yeah.
And so when they part in the end of the movie, they go to Davy Jones' locker, they get him back, they have this epic showdown.
Yeah, like I'd say almost Endgame level of like all the characters, like literally all the pirates versus Davy Jones.
Calypso gets released and she does a little cyclone in the water.
Yeah.
And that's where the final battle goes down.
Yeah, there's the ships like spinning around each other in like the whirlpool. Oh.
Yeah, and then Beckett gets it at the end and he's just flabbergasted that they even have a chance.
Yeah, like that last shot of Beckett like walking down the stairs as the ship is exploding.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite, I mean, there's so many stunts throughout these first three, but one of my favorite like special effects things was when they tipped the boat in the beginning where they're getting out of Davy Jones' locker.
Yeah, honestly, the whole segment of Davy Jones' locker.
Yeah.
Like when Elizabeth's dad is like captured by Beckett and like he's about to be executed. We don't see it. We just see his soul in the afterlife, and seeing like Elizabeth's reaction to that, like I think is like way more heart-wrenching than like seeing him get like executed.
Well, definitely. And then seeing how Will responds to her response. And even Jack, who like, you know, he gives off the demeanor of, I don't care, I'm my own man, but he does care about him. And you feel that the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's what, and we're not mentioning Jack enough. I mean, he
feels like he has everything planned, but it sort of appears like he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it feels like everything he does is like calculated.
Yeah, from that very opening shot in Curse of the Black Pearl, when the music's swelling and he's coming in to shore, and then it goes out to the wide shot and he's on this little dinghy that's actually sinking.
Yeah.
That is his character.
Yeah.
And that's some great storytelling, because they told everything you need to know about the character without a single word of dialogue in that one scene.
Yeah. And it's perfect for the first three movies. Like the characterization of Jack and his arc is really perfect. I'd say probably Johnny Depp's best role.
I think so too. I mean, there's a reason why it's iconic.
Yeah.
And why they stuck with him going forward into 4 and 5.
Yeah, and like the cultural impact, like this, I'd say this made pirates popular.
Yeah, I know. Me as a kid, I wanted to be a Jedi, but then I wanted to be a pirate.
It looks real because it mostly is real.
Yeah. A lot of it's practical. I mean, the wheel scene in that movie where they're fighting on the wheel. Oh my god!
Like they only use CGI to like enhance the backgrounds and for like little things, which is how it should be used.
And I would say that this was how Disney used to make live action movies like this.
Yeah.
Like
the first two didn't feel like Disney. Like it was very dark and like people were dying. I think the third one opens with like a kid being executed.
That's one of my favorite movie openings. Not just because the kid gets hanged, but
but them singing the pirate song.
Yeah, it's dark, it's ominous, and it sets the tone for the stakes.
Yeah.
For what is at stake here, and I think that's very important for a series like this that balances the fantasy and comedy and the serious and action. So that leads us to what we call the decline of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, after we spent like 20 minutes gushing about how great these are.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 4.
Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
It's not horrible.
What's the name of that one? Stranger Tides.
Yeah.
It's not.
What does it have to do with Strange Tides?
it was strange, and there were tides.
Oh, yeah.
So there just needs to be a comma. Stranger and tides.
Yeah, there was a stranger, and they were in water.
Yes, and in this movie, it's just Jack Sparrow as your main character.
With Gibbs.
With Gibbs, and Barbossa's still in there. And they do some interesting things with like Barbossa's character. I wouldn't say I like them, but like, so Jack meets up with an old fling that he had, played by Penelope Cruz. She's pretending to be him, and when they first meet up, there's this really cartoony, like, fight scene.
Yeah.
It feels like a cartoon.
It is like the choreography just a little more floatier and less real.
It feels like a stage play.
Yeah.
And so in this movie, Blackbeard is our antagonist.
He's kind of cool.
Yeah, but when you go from Davy Jones to Blackbeard,
they had the opportunity to make him really cool.
Yeah, and
he has a sword that can control ships. Like he can move the ship with the sword and can control the ropes and like use
the sails and everything.
Yeah, and it's really awesome. He uses it one time.
He uses it one time, and that's the only time it's ever used in the franchise, I'm pretty sure.
Captain Barbossa, spoiler, uses it to move the ship. And then they forget about it.
And then they forget about it. Yeah, so Barbossa in this movie, I do like some of the things they do. He's lost a leg because Blackbeard attacked the Pearl.
Yeah.
And in the process, he wound up having to cut his leg off to survive.
And they kind of mirror Jack's arc from the first one, where Captain Barbossa, I think he's saving a bullet for Blackbeard.
That give me left arm for chance of Blackbeard.
Not you right?
I need my good arm to drive my poisoned blade through his heart.
And then at the end, there's even a similar fight where it's like in the caves with the sunlight or moonlight coming through.
Yeah.
And Barbossa gets him and the music cuts out. But it doesn't feel as, the stakes don't feel anywhere near what the first three accomplished.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot messier and a lot less tight.
Yeah,
like,
and there's a lot of like story parts that don't make sense. Like
it opens with like the a Spanish army talking about the Fountain of Youth, like in those. It sets it up as this if the Spanish is going after the Fountain of Youth.
Right.
But for the entire movie, we don't see a hint of the Spanish.
You see it in the background one time.
We see him in the background.
Barbossa looks at him and he's just like, they don't care about it.
Yeah.
keep moving. They don't care.
And then at the end of the movie, the Spanish show up and blow up the Fountain of Youth and then leave.
Which is kind of cool because they do it just to do it.
Yeah.
And that is baller.
That is good. They show them like, this is unholy. They blow it up and they leave.
I was like, hey.
Wow.
That was pretty fun. And then also Barbossa's working for the British Army again, which that's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
Because once you've seen what Barbossa sees, I don't know how you get back into the British Army. You know what I'm saying?
And like historically speaking, most pirates became pirates, so they didn't have to join the British Army.
Right. And of course, it's revealed that he's doing it for revenge. But Barbossa's like a very well-known, cursed, like mythological pirate. How you get back in the British Army? That's all I want.
Yeah. It would have been a lot better if it was Barbossa like asking Jack for help with Blackbeard.
Yes.
And they're sort of racing the Spanish army.
And they could have grown those characters in that way, but instead they're kind of at odds until they're not, which is very piratey to begin with, at least for the first three, but it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, and it just feels like they're kind of repeating some of the arcs, like with
Definitely.
Barbossa losing the Black Pearl again.
Yeah, and then Jack has no arc.
I know a man with a goat. Good, I can go on this.
And so that brings us to number 5, which is Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Salazar's Revenge, depending on where you are in the world.
Or if you're watching it on Disney Plus.
You remember how we said 4 is not that bad?
This one's bad.
Oh man, it's bad. I tried to get you to skip this one.
Yeah,
It was rough.
I was curious on how bad it could be.
And did it exceed your expectations?
Think?
Yeah.
It went below them.
Yeah, on badness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. It was a low bar, and boy.
Yeah, somehow it still didn't pass.
No, it was so much below it.
Yeah, like Jack feels less like himself.
Yeah.
Like it opens with a bank heist where they're
From Fast 5, by the way.
Yeah, they're stealing the whole bank.
Yeah.
Which sounds cool on paper, but like
Somehow
Jack,
it's not cool though.
Yeah, Jack is like drunk in the bank vault and almost gets left behind. Actually, he does get left behind.
Yeah, and not in the fun way where he was in the first 3. In this way, it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
like, he gets left behind. His crew leaves him.
Yeah,
and then he winds up covered in mud. He goes to a bar and he trades the only thing he has left. He doesn't have a dime to his name, so that's fun. You've been with this character for 5 movies, and now he's covered in mud and has nothing going for him. That's always great. Well, he decides to trade his compass.
For like the 5th time, but this time it awakes Salazar.
Yeah, so apparently if he gives the compass away, then Salazar can leave the little cave that he's stuck in. But here's the thing. Remember how we said it was passed around a lot in movies 2 through 3? A lot. That doesn't make any sense. And then they start with like Will Turner's son is trying to free him from the Dutchman. And then he meets up with this chick who they think she's a witch. Her name's Karina.
She's just really into stars.
Yeah.
Should we jump into who Karina is now?
Yeah, because this is the thing that's just really stupid.
Plot twist, she's Barbossa's daughter. Just how that whole plot twist is like executed. Like we don't like suspect the thing.
The whole plot of this doesn't make sense because like so Salazar is trying to get revenge on Jack because Jack bested him when he was young in CGI.
Yeah.
And so he goes after him, and their ship, the Salazar ship, can eat other ships. And I know that sounds cool. Every part of this sounds cool.
It just feels weird and inconsistent because it feels like the ship grows and shrinks whenever it wants between shots.
Going from Davy Jones to Blackbeard, at least Blackbeard had some moments, but to Salazar, there's nothing special about him. And even the powers are not well defined because like they're not zombies, they're not skeletons.
They're like ghosts, but some of them are solid.
And some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And the only thing that happened to them is they go into this cove and they got shipwrecked. So I guess then they became ghosts.
They exploded and shipwrecked. That's why some of them are
ghosts.
Wasn't it like a magical water thing?
It might have been magical water. That makes sense. So speaking of magic, they're going after the trident of Poseidon.
Yeah, that removes like all magic.
It controls all magic in the sea. Well, they just break it.
Yeah.
That's so they free Will from the curse, and I'm guessing like, do they kill Calypso? I don't know. You know,
that like thousands of crabs drop from the sky.
The whole thing doesn't feel earned at all. And then at the very end, after they break the stupid trident, they're getting lifted up from this canyon thing. It looks as bad as it sounds, and they're on the anchor.
Yeah.
And Salazar turns human. He's fully human, and he starts climbing up and reaches for Karina. And Barbossa stabs him with like a little penknife or something.
Yeah, like I think Barbossa, like he looks up at the guy like on top of the rope, takes his sword, and then drops on Salazar to stab him.
Yeah,
and he sacrifices himself
for zero. Like there's 1,000 ways he could have solved that problem.
Yeah,
he just died for no reason.
Yeah, we established that Karina, his daughter, kicks like a mule.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Earlier in the movie, we like a pirate tries to tackle someone.
That's probably why she thought it was she was a witch, because she horse
like,
kicked someone
like
to the
she
next
was
county.
fully tied up and then like kicked the guy all the way across the room.
Yeah, and then Will's kid is like fighting and like barely punching folks, and she's going around like just donkey punching. So physics are very inconsistent in this one particularly.
Yeah. Especially with the guillotine scene. I know you're gonna go on a rant about the guillotine.
Yes, I'll keep it short for time, but the guillotine wasn't invented until after this movie was supposed to happen. And the fact that, I get it, they have magic, they have Poseidon's trident in there, but I'm mad about the historical inaccuracies of
But because like in the first three, they go to great care about the historical accuracy of it.
Yes, and the things they change and they manipulate, they know where they're going with it. Yeah, and we talked about how Jack doesn't even look like himself. Like, they barely did his hair. And I guess the idea is his like dreads are starting to come out and stuff. But he doesn't even look like Jack Sparrow at this point.
It looks like a weird wig.
Yeah, he looks like a Las Vegas Jack Sparrow, and not a good one.
And he barely acts like Jack Sparrow. He's like, I think he's drunk the entire movie.
And he doesn't have any arc.
I love the French. Did you know that they invented mayonnaise?
Nothing's calculated. Like, he messes up constantly.
Yeah, and not in a fun way where it comes back to a victory for him, but in a way that he just winds up with nothing and with no one. That's about it. And he finally gets the pearl back. Barbossa gets it out of the bottle somehow with the sword.
He just breaks the bottle.
He just
figures, wait a minute. He just break the bottle open.
Yeah.
It took him a year in the movie timeline to figure that out.
Literally, yeah. And yeah, this movie just gives me heart palpitations. I'm just gonna be honest, because it's really bad. It's like a whole nother level of bad.
unfortunately, that is it so far for the Pirates franchise.
Yeah, but hopefully Disney can get back to when they were making good stuff. Y'all remember that? When they made good stuff?
That's it, guys. What do you think of the Pirates quintology?
Quinception?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about them 5 movies? But yeah, that's us on Pirates. So, arg.
Argy matey.
Bye.
See you in Davy Jones' locker.
What's the version of heaven for pirates? Is it like Davy Jones' lunch bag or something?
See you in Davy Jones' lunchbox.
Okay, bye.